Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very unprofessional setting. I apologise. I am home this weekend, and we've got 4 hours left of this shit, and I'm sick of it already. This has been crippling my day for the past 9 hours. I've been trying to work. I've been trying to zenly get through the day. It doesn't matter. I said to myself, whoever goes, it's fine, but it's not fine. It's not fine at all. We've got so much to get through today. Leeds United have been repeatedly kicking my balls today, and we have transfer ins and transfers outs that we're going to get through. And I'm at a delirious point at this moment in time. Anything could happen. There is a lot on the Twitter sphere confirming that our worst fears are happening right now. And listen, we'll get through it together, as we always do. Listen, we might agree, we might disagree. we might agree, we might disagree. Football, as I always say, is subjective, but we'll get through it together. We're still Leeds fans. All the disagreements are born in frustration a lot of the time, and at this moment in time, we're going to have to get through this. So, I'm going to give you a quick fire. There's 840 of you in the building. Please make sure you're liking the video. We're going to try and get through this with a smile. Okay, pause. I'm going to get you through this. We're going to go. It's going to be about a 3-minute news roundup, and then we're going to discuss everything. Okay, off the bat. Sinisterra. Looks like he will be joining Bournemouth, according to several reports. I know Berren, Phil, Graham have all said that it's not been confirmed by the club. There is a lot going around at this moment in time saying that this one's going to get done. There's a lot of stuff online saying that apparently he's been going down to London today for his medical, or he's been travelling down to London today for his medical in the afternoon. I know there was stuff on LUFC Fan Zone and across the Leeds Twitter sphere saying that Leeds United were not going to sell him. He was telling Leeds fans that, you know, he wasn't going to go. I saw that post and I thought, I think I retweeted it. I retweeted it and quoted and put, you know, like crying face, thank God, and all this sort of stuff. But in my heart of hearts, I thought, this is so Leeds. This is Leeds United in a nutshell. For in like 3 hours' time, something to happen. And then, like magic, about 40 minutes later, he was apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, going to Bournemouth. So the whole deliberation around this is the problem in Cini's contract now. We spoke about this on the channel ages ago. With regards to Cini. I came on here and said I'd been told that there were complications in his contract of which the club didn't fully understand. His agent didn't fully understand, and Sinisterra himself didn't fully understand. Now, I was of the opinion that his loan clause had expired, and Leeds United couldn't loan out any more players because they had a cap. Now, there seems to be another clause in his contract which overrides this and enables him to go out on loan, whatever the case. Whatever happens, it doesn't matter, you know, all the complications and all the factors that we've been speaking about. Whatever is in Sinisterra's contract overrides everything, and that's something called a termination clause. There's something within that termination clause, from what I've been told, that basically has had me up all night thinking about Sinisterra leaving today. I've not been confident. I think you guys have been sort of, you know, commenting with me and saying, why have you not got faith, this, that and the other. These are the reasons. You know, it's just with whatever that charlatan, that absolute arsehole did beforehand. And I don't fully blame the 49ers for this. I really don't, because this was done. I've said on here before, I have said that they surely had understandings of what was going on contract-wise with some of our players. Like I'm like, there's surely got to have some representatives in boardrooms when contracts have been signed with big players. But I don't know. I know from the outside, you do sort of see these contract pictures, and it seems to be Victor Orta, the player, and then just, I don't know, a family member or / agent. I know that sounds ridiculous and frivolous, and probably it isn't correct, but would the 49ers actually have a representative in there, like, who are going over the contracts and this, that, and the other? They probably just listened to whatever the majority shareholder, being Andrea Radrizzani, said, and they took his word for it and trusted him, as you should do as a shareholder with another business partner. Turns out we had charlatans in charge who put loan clauses in every one of these players' contracts to even get them to come to Leeds in the first place, or to extend contracts, as we've seen with Jack Harrison. But it looks like, according to Fabrizio Romano, a clause has been activated by Bournemouth, which, I mean, you just can't believe this lot, can you? Iriola, Aarons, Adams, Sinisterra beating us 4-1 last season, which caused absolute meltdown with the fan base and caused the players to get booed off and all this sort of stuff. And that was almost the tipping point for 90% of the fan base. They're really upset about 1990, 1991, aren't they? But it is just, Bournemouth have just been driving that nail in. I mean, they don't even need a winger. But it's added quality. Sinisterra wants the move. I've said this on the stream a couple of times now, and from what I know, listen, I'm not coming on here and saying I'm an ITK. I just tell you guys what I've been told by a really, really, really decent source of mine. That's it, and you can believe it or you don't have to believe it. But I've said on here consistently that his agent has been talking to Leeds every single day trying to get him out of the club. Now, I'm not saying Sinisterra has been kicking up a fuss. I'm not. And you've seen with his performances on the pitch, he's been excellent. So he's not been down tools. He's not down tools or whatever, as like they say. But his agent has been trying to get him out of Leeds for a while now. And as that's concurrent, it's consistent with reports who now are today saying that he doesn't want to play in the second tier of English football. He wants to play at a higher level, which obviously aligns with what I was trying to say on here, that his agent's trying to get him out. And then we see reports today saying, as obviously Leeds have tried to, initiate him back with that first team, and that's been a bit of a long process, but they've managed to do so, yada, yada. So, yeah, Fabrizio Romano reporting that. Berren, Graham, Phil have all said that there's no agreement yet, but I just feel it's a matter of time. He's going to sign. So, where does that leave us? Okay. Now, close your ears if you don't want to hear this. Cheers, by the way. Okay, so, do Leeds now have the best attack in the division? There's an argument there. With Sinisterra, yes, 100%. But now I'm not so sure. I think Cine is the differential between Leeds and the top two. I firmly believe that, and I will NFT investments. What's wrong with you, mate? Let's be honest. Like everyone else, you get. Why would I guess? What's the frigging point, lad? What's the point? What's the point in coming on here and getting my nose blooded and I'm going to get clipped up on social media and told I'm this, that, and the other? I don't do that, mate. I've got a life. I'm not a complete, do you think really people are that sad on YouTube? People just do that because they're passionate football fans and they just want to share it with you. They're not doing it for clout. I'm in a bedroom with a microphone, fella. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking studio settings here and trying to get 2,000-3,000 followers off the back of me being ITK. I couldn't give a bollocks. I don't give a shit. I'm just literally sharing with you guys what I've been told because I think it's nice for you guys as well. I don't have to do this. I really don't. So, yeah, mate, come on. Jesus Christ. I'm telling you what I've been told because I think that is nice for you guys to know as well. We can have a conversation about it. So anyway, back to the actual stuff. With the Sinisterra thing, I think with him going, there's naturally going to be a bit of a problem with the synergy of that front four because I think there's a lot of rawness. And I think that is slightly problematic. And just that, yeah. And mate, you're not stating facts at all. Because you haven't got a clue on who I'm talking about or what I'm saying. So you're not stating facts at all. You're stating your opinion, and you're upset at the fact that I've come on here and I've said something like that. So relax. But yeah. So the problem with Sinisterra being out of this fold is Gnonto, Rutter, and Somerville for me are just a bit raw. And I think we saw the other night, and guys, thank you so much for your super chats. I'm going to get into your super chats in just a second. The problem is the rawness is gelled together by Sinisterra's quality and his class, and he is the end product. He's the best player in the championship. There's only Keenan Dewsbury Hall who's near him for me. So I think this is going to be a slight problem for Leeds United to replace. I personally think the only thing you can do to replace Sinisterra is bring in O'Reilly. That's all I can see as a viable way forward. And we're going to talk about Matt O'Reilly in a bit. But I think that is genuinely the only way you can do it in terms of quality. The problem is he's going to cost 10 to 12 million quid. Can Leeds do that? Realistically, can we do that? I don't know. And are there alternatives out there? Now, the quality, it's a good front line, but I think the depth of it, when you're putting James in there, I'm a little bit like, it's a good front three. Perot's massive, but I still see rashness. I see rawness. And as I've just mentioned before, I think he's the cement. Sinny's the cement, which is a little bit of my worry. Can we get an nth degree of quality to replace him? I'd hope so. If we go out of this window with a Sinisterra loss, I don't care what business we've done. It's a 6 out of 10 window for me. It's a 6 out of 10 window because you've not addressed the left back, you've not brought in an attacking midfielder, and you've lost your best player. So for me, they have to replace him. They have to replace him. And I've just seen a couple of people there. Mohammed said Paintsil. Paintsil's one who I feel is just waiting there for Leeds to maybe pull the trigger on. I don't think it's Paintsil. I think it's O'Reilly. I think it's O'Reilly who they're going to go for. And I think that's on the premise that if Cine goes, I just think it's going to be a difficult one. I think it's going to be a really difficult one for them to get done. Celtic have got Rangers this weekend. It's deadline day. He's arguably Celtic's best player. This is the problem, and this is the bullshit nature around it being a loan, which we can't do anything about because it's the previous owner, the previous owners of the recruitment director, who's just a complete dickhead. He has set these loan clauses in a lot of our top assets contracts, which has meant that Leeds have really been hampered and handicapped by that, which is essentially what Farke said today. We can't do anything about that now. So if this termination clause means that City can go on loan, Leeds can't do anything about it. We simply cannot do anything about it. So you've got to replace quality with, someone who's near him. And if they have to pay 10 to 12 million quid, it's unfortunately what they have to do. If they want us to get out of this division, the first time of asking, they've lost the main guy who's going to do that for us. Sinisterra for me, and I said this to you guys on a stream a couple of days ago, and this is just my opinion. If Sinisterra is at Leeds and we play Sheffield Wednesday and we go into January, and obviously there'll be bids there for him and all this sort of stuff. If we go into this season with Sinisterra, Somerville, Gnonto, James, Rutter, Jed Spence, a left back would have been perfect. Kamara, Gruev, top two. I promised. And as Dale said, it's all based on Romano comment. It is, but there are a few. Yes, it's not our reporters. Of course, it's not our reporters. But there are a few people who are now dotting around that. Yeah. So yeah, it is. Listen, no deal has been agreed yet. Apparently, Romano's gone with it. And we know he's not always right. But for me, he's the most reliable source out there with the amount he puts out. So there's no smoke without fire. So there's something there. And as I've told you guys from what I've just been told, but not just been told, but been told throughout the window, his agent wants him out. So it aligns. Do you see what I mean? And I think this is just, bringing in O'Reilly. Can I just say something on O'Reilly as well? O'Reilly would be an excellent signing. He'd be a top signing. He's a very, very good player. Very, very good player. Obviously, he won't be playing in the same role as Sinisterra, but if you're dotting the players in and around him, I've mentioned before, the cement. O'Reilly's a little bit of the cement, but in a very, very different way. Very good possession-based football player, would fit into a Daniel Farke system really gnocly. He would be the cement in a different way to what Cine is. So he'd bring that rawness together. The problem is you've got so much in Gnonto, Rutter, Somerville. It's just 19-year-olds. It's still kids. You need someone there who's going to be able to dictate what they do a little bit, the conductor. And obviously I know O'Reilly's young, but I think he plays with a little bit of a mature head as well. And Celtic fans love him. I think that would be a really good addition. I'm just not 100% sure how they can get that done. With Celtic playing Rangers this weekend. It's a massive loss for them. Will Rodgers want that to be done? He's probably going to turn around to Celtic and be like, just please do not let him go. So, yeah, and as Michael said there, be a cheat code. Let me just get into a few of your comments. Lee, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that, buddy. And I will do. Thank you, mate. Cheers. So annoying and frustrating, mate. I have a few on me. Yeah, shite. And let's hope, as Andy said before, it is rumours. Let's hope it is rumours. Let's hope it's rubbish. Let's hope that we're going to get confirmation at 11 o'clock that Sinisterra is a Leeds player. It looks like we're not going to be doing any more business aside from Sinisterra, which I do find disappointing. But at the same time, keeping Sinisterra, and you know, it confuses me a little bit because they have gone for Taylor. They have. Obviously, they've asked Burnley. Burnley have said no. You know, I think Charlie was waiting a little bit round for it, but Thomas as well. So they have gone for a left back. This is what I don't really understand. Like, we're hearing all this talk now of how he said today, essentially, didn't he, that Firpo, he really rates Firpo and Shackleton can play there. And I know he's just saying that. And he said, we're going to wait and see what the options, where the land lies. Ian Maatson could go to Burnley for 31.5 million quid. That means that the door is going to be open for Charlie Taylor. Go fucking do Charlie Taylor. It would be perfect. A fucking left back. Just get a left back in. A good left back. And, you know, that is the balance of the back line then is brilliant. So that's what I mean. If they're able to actually go out there and bring in a Taylor, they've got 2 centre midfielders, which I'm happy with. I'm really happy with. No dramas there. I really haven't. And then if Perot and Rutter are to do the 10, you know, and interchange and intertwine that way, I'm absolutely perfectly fine with that. Okay, I'd have liked an AM, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But losing Sinisterra is just massive. It's massive. But I tell you what, even if they lose Sinisterra, if they're bullish and they go out and whack 10 million quid down to 12 million quid on O'Reilly, it's not ideal, but he is still quality. He is still quality. So if they lose Sinisterra, and I've said this as well, if they go out and buy O'Reilly and then they bring in a left back, Matt Target, another one, they bring in Matt Target, go for a team on, and they do that, then I'm turning around at the end of the window and I'm going, they've been dealt a shit sandwich there by Uncle Knobhead from the regime before. They've done okay there. They've done okay. And they've tried to keep him. But, you know, when you've got an agent on the blower constantly saying, I want him out, he needs to believe in it, he wants to be playing higher football. And it's Sinisterra, isn't it? He's top 6, top 8 footballer. He's so good. He's too good. He's a cheat code. And that's why it's so disappointing, because if he stays in the Championship, even if he goes in Jan, if he stays in the Championship and we keep him, he's how many goal contributions is he getting? He's a freak. He's a freak of nature in this division. So, and yeah, that's it's difficult, isn't it? It is. Andy Toons in the building. Hi, Andy. Hi, Connor. Stuck at work. Well, it'll be over soon, mate. Hopefully you'll have a beer. Heard about Cine, but can't see at 7:10 that we would get signings and medicals done. Is that you saying you don't think Cine's going to go, mate? I hope you're right. They will have got in contact. They will have got in contact with O'Reilly by now. If they know Cine's on a medical, they will. So maybe, hopefully that's a bit of encouragement for you, mate. Mark McCabe says, hi, Connor, deadline day is killing me, so I'm going to the pub. Yes, Mark. Big fan of that, lad. Let's get down to the pub. You listen, if anybody's here, you don't have to have a beer, even if you're not old enough, or if you don't drink, get yourself a lemonade or get yourself a cup of tea. I've been slamming the cups of tea all day to keep me engaged for the evening's content. Not R, says Jason, just replaced with C, left back and Camp. Fair enough, mate. From across the pond, thanks for sharing your knowledge and opinion. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that, mate. As I say, I'd never come on here just to bullshit you. I'm really not about that. I couldn't care less. What do you value, Joffy? Hi, Render. Hope you're okay. Joffy. 5 mil, maybe 5 to 7. I don't know if he's 10, don't know if he's 10. But then I look at, if City had hold of Sinisterra, how much would they be selling him for? How much would Man City be selling Sinisterra for in terms of negotiation tactic? I just can't believe they've got hold of 42.5 million for Cole Palmer. You know, Gnonto scored what two international goals for Italy. Cole Palmer's still coming through the ranks. Gnonto's had however many games, which is probably comparable or more to Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer's going for double the value of Gnonto. It's just sometimes you do, and we had this discussion with Rafa and Phillips. I was a bit like, because he's constantly injured, and I guess you can apply that to Sinisterra, can't you? But I just feel a lot of the time, and I don't know if you guys agree, and I guess the new regime are holding out a little bit more when it comes to like Gnonto, like 35 million, which is much better. I just always feel that Leeds are undercooked a little bit when it comes to transfer values. Like, I'm even looking at Sinisterra, and Bournemouth have got an option to buy him. They've got an option to buy him after a year. It's not an obligation, it's an option. They've got an option to buy him at the end, and it's what, 25 million quid? And you just think to yourself, it should be more than that. It should be more than that, but it is what it is, isn't it? Everton are going to come in late for Gnonto. Yeah, they're after. Is it Suleimana? Suleimana, is he at Southampton? I think Suleimana. You guys might have to let me know. No, I know Sinisterra won't get in City's team. Everyone, I'm just saying, like, yeah, Connie, your camera's blurred. Apologies, mate. It's yeah, I'm a home away from home at the minute. Connor, if we keep Cine, how problematic is his injury issue? It could be EJM. It could be, but I guess the beneficiary of that is going to be Leeds, because they're going to have him for 20-30. What's the minimum they're going to have him for? 20-30% of the season. You know, if you keep Cine fit for 50-60% of the season, you arguably win the league. He's that good. He's a match winner. Like, I know it was Salford the other night. I understand it was Salford, but he even came on that game. And it was just the composure just seemed to elevate a little bit with the Leeds side. Like, he never makes a bad pass. He never makes a wrong decision. So it's a difficult one. It's a real difficult one. Cine is going. A lot of people saying the same thing. But JB looks like he potentially could be going to Swansea. Gnonto, reports in Italy are saying 45 million euros is done to Everton. Whether you believe that or you don't believe that, it's just reports in Italy that I've seen on Twitter recently. The interesting thing is with Sinisterra is that they're in for Daka, and they want Daka for a loan signing. Now, if they are to get him on a loan, then it's going to be interesting there. Paul's just said that Sky Sports are still saying that Bournemouth are still in talks with Leeds. That's going to be the interesting thing, because if Daka does go to Bournemouth, then what? You know, because he's sort of an attacking position. He can play inverted. Obviously, he's a striker, but he can play inverted. One to keep an eye on is Jadon Anthony in this deal. One to keep an eye on is him, for me. He's not getting a lot of game time at the minute at Bournemouth. It'll be interesting to see, because it's very like for like. They're packed full of wingers. They are packed full of wingers at Bournemouth. Leeds and Jadon Anthony could be something. So just keep an eye on that one. Might not be anything, but it could be something. Gelhardt is a potential pawn in the deal with Elias Chair. A couple of reporters stating that Leeds could be in for Elias Chair. Apparently, we asked about him at the start. Apparently we asked about Elias Chair at the start, and we were knocked back. His value is 6 to 8 million quid. So, could Leeds go in again? Are they going to be able to get O'Reilly for a cheaper price than Chair? Probably not, but who would I rather have? I'd rather have O'Reilly, to be honest, over Elias Chair. I love Elias Chair. I think he's quality, but if you're asking me who I think would work better, it would be O'Reilly. Who do I think is more of a quality player? O'Reilly. Who do I think, if we were to go to the Premier League, would transition into a Premier League outfit up there? Would be O'Reilly. You know, I think he's a really, really good addition if we were to get someone like... Do you know what? If we're to lose Sinisterra, I think we'll go in for O'Reilly. I do. I honestly do. I honestly do think we'll go and potentially we'll get him. I honestly think that. So, Share is one to keep an eye on. But if they... And I'm just putting it out in the ether. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere. I always like to give like the other side. If they don't go and replace Cine, and if this drags out, and drags out and drags out and drags out, and we see a Bournemouth have signed Sinisterra at 10:30, 10:45. That we all know that's not good enough. It's not good enough because you've lost the best player in the division. You're a demoted side. I understand that you can't have any control over it, but you can put precautions in there. You can put stuff in there. You can adapt. You can go for an O'Reilly, a Share, whoever, to replace that quality just in behind Yoel Perot. Because, listen, Perot's going to be affected by this. Perot's going to be affected by this because he'll have been thinking when he saw Sinisterra when he was coming to Leeds, bloody hell, I'm going to get about 30 goals here because he's a quality player. So Perot will be thinking, oh God, I hope they replace him. I know Leeds have got the quality. I understand we've got the quality, but it's a very young set of players who we even saw against Salford the other night are still quite raw when Sinny's not there to be that cement for me, as I keep saying. So, yeah, for me, I'm going O'Reilly over Share, but I wouldn't mind Share whatsoever. Drame's gone to Birmingham City. An interesting one. I don't really... What do you guys think about that? Cody Drame. I think... why didn't we sell him? Is anybody in the same camp there? Why didn't we sell him? I'm trying not to be defeatist here, but his stock will be high after what he's done with Luton last season. I was sort of calling for him to start over Luke Ayling for a while, but now we've got Jed Spence, who is levels ahead. So I'm a little bit confused as to why, when Drame's stock is this high and Birmingham City are in the equation, who are splashing a bit of cash at the minute, why we didn't just sell him? Because he's never going to play. We all know. You can have an opinion, I can have an opinion on if he should start, if he shouldn't start, but he's never going to play for Leeds United. I don't think he'll ever play for Leeds again. Sinisterra, if he goes on loan to Bournemouth, he's never going to play for Leeds United again. Jack Harrison, in my opinion, is never going to play for Leeds United again. So, of all this, what's the point? I just don't get it. You might as well have sold him. So we've loaned him out again for the third successive loan to another championship club, a mid-table to upper table championship club, which we've done before. I'm just a little bit confused as to when his stock's high, why you don't go out and get... you're looking at Birmingham and the money that they're flaunting around at the minute. Obviously, Tom Brady been involved. You could have got 5 to 10 million for him, I reckon. 5 to 7 million for him, and they've loaned him out again. It's like, yeah, I don't understand that. Maybe there's some stipulation there, but yeah. Pat says, Connor, why buy Cody when you get him for a fringe? That's also a good point, Pat. Yeah, it's a good point. As we know, yeah, that's a good point. And he's never going to play for Leeds again because of the end of his contract. And you're quite right. I just felt with Leeds it could have been a bit more intelligent. Paul Conway's in the building. Hey, Paul. Agree with you. Connor Sinny's a complete difference maker. Checking Sky Bet odds every 5 minutes today. Paul, the best scenario for Leeds United, right? Listen, if you can get O'Reilly and keep Sinisterra and get Charlie Taylor, Connor's going to be running down Leeds City Centre stripped naked with a Leeds scarf on. So not fully naked. But I'm telling you, that's league winners. I know we have to make up 7 points to Leicester. And Leicester don't look like they're losing form at the minute whatsoever. But that's ridiculous. That's lower league, Premier League side, 100%. But we're not going to do that. So if we're looking at the realism of it, if Sinisterra is to stay, I'd love them to get a left back. I know I keep saying it, but I'd love them to get a left back. I think left back's so important, but they're probably not going to do it. But if they did do a left back, that him staying and them getting a left back is just it's a 9 out of 10 window. If Sinny goes and they don't replace him properly, it's a 6 out of 10. And I don't blame the 49ers fully. Because of the shithouses beforehand who've completely negated the full extent of what they could have done in this window. They've restricted, I should say, not negated. They've restricted what the new ownership could have done in this window because of what they've done and because of the fees that we couldn't get for certain personnel. So I don't fully blame the 49ers. They've done as much as they can, really. As I said, this termination clause in Sinny's contract comprises of multiple different things, which Victor Orta's just decided to throw in there to get him over to Leeds. So if you keep hold of Sinny and get a left back in, and even if you just keep hold of Sinny, it's an 8 out of 10 window still, you know. As I've said, you do all of what I said at the start. You bring in O'Reilly, you bring in Taylor, you keep Cine. It's a 10 out of 10, but it's not going to happen, obviously. But yeah. Daniel Wunsch says, Connor, you're the best Leeds streamer. Thanks from Germany. Daniel, thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that. That's a very, very nice comment. Thank you so much for your donation as well. I am going to Germany. Yes, one Leeds is going to Germany. I'm going to watch the Rhine Derby. I'm going to be sitting in the Cologne end, so yeah, I'm going to Cologne for my birthday, which I can't wait for, actually. It'll happen 10:59. Oh, Dan, right, don't, mate. Unrealistic, Connor, I know. Andrew, I know. Mike says, Farker said Firpo and Byram are the left backs, but he did say, we'll see how the window shapes up. We'll see if there are options. He wants a left back. He's not going to come out and say, yeah, I want a left back, I want a left back, I want a left back, because then it's almost diminishing the players that he's got. It's saying that Firpo's not good enough. It's saying Shaxx, shouldn't be a starter. It's saying Byram, shouldn't be a starter because of his injury record and the fact he's right-footed. I think the start of that quote where he said, we'll be watching the market, or whatever he said, I'm paraphrasing, but we'll be watching, for me is him saying, yeah, I would like a left back. They've asked about Taylor, and they've gone for Luke Thomas, and that was Leicester being very, very shrewd and saying, we're not selling him to you, which is what I understand why they've done that. And I didn't understand why they were doing that anyway, because Luke Thomas is a really decent player, hence why he's at Sheffield United now, Premier League football. But yeah, unrealistic, Connor. Leeds open talks for Facundo Buonat. I don't think so, because De Zerbi said that he wasn't gonna. Might try and focus on the Luton game for 30 seconds until I'm back refreshing Twitter, not calling it X. Yes, Juan. Keep up the good work, mate. Yeah, Facundo on loan might happen. Now they got Fatty. De Zerbi said he wasn't going today, though, didn't he? I think that's just been killed by Julio and Ciccio getting injured, which is annoying. So what have we got going on? Let's have a quick look at what's going on deadline day, and we can all have a little bit of a chat on what you think of some of these transfers. So, as I say, you've got the Generation Leeds stuff in the background there. Apologies for that. And I've just put that on screen. It's going well for Connor. I'm just going to change that background, everybody. But yeah, quite a few deals that I've got done today. There we go. Quite a few deals that I've got done today. Howard Bellis, I think, is a really decent signing. As you guys know, I was a big fan of Howard Bellis. I think he'd have been a good addition for Leeds, but it was interesting how Phil was saying as well that they wanted another centre-back. So, yeah, I thought Howard Bellis would have been a decent one to get. I think that's a good get from Southampton. Obviously, they're about to lose Bella Kocher, aren't they? So, I think that's a really good addition for them. Drame, obviously, to Bournemouth. To Bournemouth? I'm obsessed with Bournemouth at this moment in time for the right reasons. What else have we got here? We've got Panzo, Forest to Cardiff, Longman, Campbell. These are all boring. Let's get some Burstow. That's interesting. Chelsea to Sunderland. Obviously, he's featured in a couple of Chelsea games recently as well. When we go up to the Premier League, James McAtee. Yeah, that would have been nice at Leeds United. Reguilon's gone to the dark side. Johnny Evans to the dark side as well. Forest getting Callum Hudson-Odoi, which I think was important because at one point I thought they're going to sell Brennan Johnson and go in for Cine or Gnonto or whatever, and they've got the capital to be able to do that at the minute. So that was a little bit worrying. Don't sell Cine, don't sell Stinny. Yeah, apologies for that, everyone. It shouldn't be blurred. Let me just blow that up. Is that okay? Hopefully you can see that. Connor, are we in for Charlie Taylor? We were, mate, at the start of the window. We were. But yeah, so a lot of business that has gone on today. When it comes to on my phone, house all blurry, on my TV, you're clear as day. Yeah, weird, mate. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's just I'm literally on my laptop camera, which normally I'm on a 4K camera. So apologies for that. I've got my old microphone here as well. Shout out to Scott Chegg as well, who's just gone over And subscribe to the Patreon. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that, buddy. My old man is in the chat as well. Can we have a big shout out to Connor's old man in the chat? He's featured on Generation Leeds as well, everybody, which is on the Patreon now. But Dad said, any more updates? Any more updates? My dad's getting annoyed as well. It was funny. I came back today, and he sent me a message as I was coming into my village, and he goes, any updates? And he'd not heard about Sinisterra, and I told him, and I can't tell you the words that came back because I know we have a few expletives on here, but that was a real message. And then I came in, and my brother hadn't heard the news either, and then I told him, and there we go. It was absolutely mental. There you go, Dad. You're getting some. He'll be loving that. He won't be able to get it up on his phone. He'll be doing that. What are they saying about me, son? Joe says, I don't understand why we don't get Charlie. Hope we have someone lined up straight away if we do love Cine, regardless if the quality isn't as good as Fat. Yeah, you're right, Joe. I think you're spot on, pal. I'm just checking Twitter now to see if I've got any, someone's pinged me a message or if we've got anything on there. Let's have a quick look. A little bit of an update at the minute. My ugly mug on there. Tottenham going for Conor Gallagher. The Italian transfer window is closed now, which is interesting. Darren Whitcop has said that Leeds are back in touch with QPR regarding Elias Chair, but QPR don't want to lose him. But Joe Gelhardt could make way. That'd be interesting. That'd be really, really interesting. Another one as well I'm going to throw at you. Now, Dean Garner, Kyle Bartley, allegedly. John Swift. What are your thoughts on that one? Apparently West Bromwich Albion are willing to hear offers for John Swift and Grady Dean Garner. What are your thoughts on that one? Now, that is one for yesteryear. I do like John Swift. I've always liked John Swift. I think it's because we're Premier League snobs now. We probably wouldn't take John Swift, but that could be one. It's never on the Sinisterra quality level. But John Swift, apparently West Bromwich Albion are ready. We know they're in financial oblivion at the minute, or they're going to be in financial oblivion. But yeah, apparently they're willing to listen to offers. I mean, if I'm going on a ranking, I'm going O'Reilly top, and then I'm going Share, and then I'm probably going John Swift. I don't know if everybody else is in the same category. Teshan's just said Bielsa liked Swifty. He did. He liked Swifty a lot, didn't he? I think he was always trying to go after him. Leeds United Calypso says all we need to do is offer Drame a new contract, and then we get compensation, payment due to his age, we get a fee. Yeah, it's a good point, that, mate. It's a good point. Jamal Lewis would be class. Yeah, Lewis would be a decent acquisition, wouldn't he? Sujal says, remember you talking about Swift some time back. Yeah, I mean, Bielsa just loved him, didn't he? And I think at that point, it'd have been a really, really smart addition from Leeds, but I think it was our ownership at the time, wasn't it, who convinced me and convinced others that it was all Bielsa who was saying no to every single player when the carpet was lifted up and all the shite came out. We realised that it was the ownership that was the problem, not Marcelo Bielsa. And yeah, I'd take him back in a heartbeat. And guess what, everybody? I was one of the ones who wanted him to leave. 100%. I think I was the first YouTuber who said he needs to go. Because I saw it going down the pan and I thought Leeds would move on to a transitional manager who played a similar style of football to him. Maybe an Iriola at the time. Maybe a Gallardo. But they didn't do that. They went to Jesse Marsh. So yeah, that's when it all started to unveil a little bit. And yeah. But yeah, I am wrong. Believe it or not, that can happen. As we've seen, Mike McGrath has said Bournemouth have bid for Leeds forward Louis Sinisterra in a loan deal. Leeds have reintegrated him in the first team squad after training on his own and clearly wanted him to stay. Of course we do. I mean, what are we on now? I mean, we're nearly at 8 o'clock. It's 3 hours. Are they going to do it? Because they can't. They can. Well, they can. I know they can't. Connor, you fucking idiot. Of course they can. I just honestly, guys, I don't see how this works. I mean, if they lost Sinisterra and we go into Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow, I was having this chat with Oscar earlier. It's a negative vibe, innit? It's a negative vibe from a really, really positive week. A really positive week for where I've been buzzing. I've been on cloud nine. A lot of you guys have been as well. I'd be really, really disappointed going into that Wednesday game without him. And do you know what? If we'd have got a fee for him, if we'd have got 25, 30 million quid, you're turning around and you're going, well, they'll have invested that on that night as well. And we'd have kept some in the kitty for January when we can actually go and get a left back, when we actually realise that we need a left back. And Charlie Taylor's not playing any minutes, or, you know, Matt Targett says that he wants to leave Newcastle. And we can go in and do a left back then. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. But if we're to lose him now, Cine, and we're not bringing a replacement in, that's a real negative start, I think, to the weekend and the season. And Gruev, great. Kamara, great. I mean, you've heard me on the channel about Jed Spence multiple times. I'm really happy with that. But I feel it's with that, you're taking your match winner out. Your match winner. You're taking the Championship's best player out and you're not replacing him. I think he goes tonight. I think it's gone very, very quiet. And I know what you're all doing. You're on Twitter, you know, you're on Sky Sports. Ash, who I know is in the comments, just said, I feel like I'm on death row. That's how I feel at the minute, just waiting and refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. You are hoping that in the background, and here we go, Kamaldeen Sulemana is set to stay at Southampton. He's set to stay at Southampton, barring late interest. Now, why that is fascinating is because it looks like after Everton have been taken away from Willie Gnonto, Leeds have stood strong. If you've seen me on Twitter, shield wall. We've all got our shield walls up, trying to protect the club from foreign invasion. The 21-year-old will remain at the club. Everton have not gone. Apparently, Southampton wanted 30 million quid, and Everton have not gone to that 30 million valuation. Now, why this is interesting is because the report that has included Leeds in it with Willie Gnonto is that they didn't step up from 25.7 million quid. So I think 30 million quid. Obviously, they've got the signing of Beto done, haven't they? For 30 million quid as well. Obviously, I know Iwobi's gone, but can they really stretch to 30 million plus quid, which is what Leeds want? And it's clearly what Southampton want and demand. I mean, Southampton have taken in about 9 billion quid this window, but what's their tactic going to be now? Are they going to come back to Leeds and are they going to panic? Because maybe Sulemana was their second option. It clearly was after Gnonto. Are they going to come back to Leeds now and panic? Now, this is ultra negative. If they lost Sinisterra and Gnonto, the clock ticks in the background as I envisage the end of the season and Leeds are in 10th place. That's criminal. That is criminal. Can see a lot of you having meltdowns. There's no way we're going anywhere near that top 6 if we lose those two. I'm not having any of you call me negative or pessimistic. You bloody well know. So let's not manifest that. Let's not put that into the existence, the atmosphere, which I've just done anyway. But yeah, let's Leeds asked for 45 million for Gnonto, Connor. I hope that Louis says I love Connor's videos, but sometimes I like to switch them off. Fair enough, mate. Oh, I've run out of beer. So yeah, I'm keeping refreshing. I'm keeping going. I'm keeping you guys updated. I keep getting Phil Hay. It keeps going to the top of the. Oh, by the way, Mo Salah for 200 million. What's happening to football? What's happening? Do we really want to go back to the Premier League? Stay in the Championship. Give me Hull and Millwall. Do that. Let's just do that instead. 200 million quid. What are we doing here? What are we talking about? Absolutely mental. Jamal Lewis says Tanya is going to Swansea. Nice little sign in there. If Sinisterra goes, then Gnonto, then Somerville will have the biggest meltdown, don't they, man? There'd just be no point, would there? There'd just be... And you'd still get people telling me that Shacklett and James and Pervader can play in the three. It's like we've just had some sort of like... It's like, this is what you could have had, on the game shows. This is what you could have won. You've got Sinisterra, Somerville, Gnonto, and Perot. It's what you could have won. And then they unveil what you've actually got. And you know what I mean? It's like you've gone from a Lamborghini to a Seat. It's just, they can't lose those two. I think I'd combust. I don't think I'd be able to come on stream for a while. According to Fab Romano, Bournemouth and Leeds have come to a verbal agreement. Is that now? Has he just put that out? Everyone on the stream ferociously looking at Fabrizio Romano. I think this is an early one, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, they have got an agreement, apparently, according to him. But then you've got Phil Barron, Graham all saying that there's no agreement yet. So it's watch this space, really, at the minute. Leeds would loan Salah out. Leeds would loan everyone out, wouldn't they, at the minute? They really would. Verbal means nothing. I'm depressed. Clive, it hasn't happened yet. But it's just how quiet it is. It's really, really quiet. And we're all looking at that clock. What are we on now? 7:51. 7:51. I just feel it's been done now. I just feel it is. I just think it's been... There's just... Oh, no. Oh, Phil, hey, tweet. I'm not going to look at the comments. Phil, I've not seen it yet, but don't piss me off, Phil. Phil. This is what I mean. It's quiet. It's too quiet. They're going to get it done. I'm convinced of it. I'm just convinced of it. This is why I can be a cynical twat sometimes. Because when you're cynical, it's normally right. It's true. It's true. No hope, no positivity. If you're cynical and you're pessimistic, it's normally right when it comes to Leeds United. I had a dream. of a Sinisterra, Rutter, Gnonto and Perot front line for 46 games with Somerville dotted in there and James coming off the bench. But still, 20 minutes I'll give him. Bamford standing there for 10 minutes and then getting injured. I had a dream. And this dream's been ripped apart by those Tories on the South Coast. And I just can't deal with it. Again, Iriola, Adams, Aarons, Sinisterra, 4-1. Oh, man. Radio silence on Sinisterra. Phil, what do you mean, radio silence? I know exactly what you mean. It means his agents not communicating, Sinisterra's not communicating, and on the Bournemouth side, they're really encouraged. We're actually going to let Sinisterra go out on loan, aren't we? For 1 year, with no obligation and an option. And because of a termination clause in his contract, he's going to go down to Bournemouth for no money. And they may, at the end of the day, say, yeah, we'll take him. But they may just say no. An option to buy. They may not even play him. There doesn't seem to be any reports of Jaden Anthony coming the other way, which I thought might happen. Any sort of like swap deal. Like, this is shite. Isn't it? Joe, can we not? If people tell me we've got Dan James when we've lost Sinister, I saw today. And I get it, but I saw today someone said, I'd rather have Dan James than Sinisterra because at least he gives 100%. Give over, man. You're joking me. You'd rather give Dan James. Look, I like Dan James. I think I'm sure he's a nice guy, but you'd rather have Dan James over Sinisterra because he gives effort. Jesus Christ. Ah, man. The Leeds have got to get someone in. They've got to get someone in, haven't they? No, Richard, I know he's not. I know he's not. But I don't think Sinisterra's a rat. He just wants to play Premier League football. And listen, the performances that he's shown, Sinisterra, he's not been down tools, has he? He was brilliant against Ipswich. He's the best player on the pitch. Salford, he came on and changed it. Like, there's not been any bad performances from Cine to say, and like there was nothing out there saying that he wasn't going to be, he was refusing to play for Leeds or anything like that. We didn't know. It was very murky, wasn't it? Taking pictures with fans today, like he doesn't seem like he's a bad egg. His agent is probably irking for him to have a move out. He probably wants to play Premier League, which is fine, but I don't see him as a bad egg. But I think he's always given 100% for Leeds. To be honest, but yeah, Bournemouth. I know, Nick. Bournemouth, eh? God. Oh, Jesus. And I hope the club know what's going on. I hope it's not a Dan James scenario. It's come full circle where now the club don't know what Sinisterra is doing, so they can't move. Ash. God. Guys. Man. Dan James might go, yeah. It might be an exodus. They all might just leave. Maybe Ipswich. We're all going to be looking back at Ipswich at the end of the season when we're stuck in 13th and we're going to back where we belong. We're going to be looking at that and just thinking, Jesus, do you remember when it was all hunky dory? Do you ever seen that front four? No, it can't get that bad, but they've got to replace Sinisterra. They've got to. They've got to. Yes, he would. He would. Raksaki would be an excellent signing. Bradley, it's a great shout. It's a very, very good shout. Yeah. I'm buzzing with the window so far. Most bad apples gone. Solid signings and loans. Yeah, I don't think it's too bad, Andy. I don't think it's been too... I'm not saying it's bad, mate. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't think it's... It depends where your expectations are, mate. It depends what... And what I mean by that is I just mean... Where do you expect Leeds to finish with this squad? Like, I see it challenging for the top six. Sinisterra out. There's no way it's challenging for the top two, especially if they don't replace. I'll have bets on with all of you. There's no way. There's no way. The caliber of the squad, just for me, it's listen. I'm not saying the championship's ridiculous. Of course, it's not. But you need X Factor. I think you need X Factor to get up in those top two positions, and I think the X Factor would be going. You'd have Gnonto, of course you would, but Cine's next level, isn't he? He's next level, and we all know that really, which is just annoying. The worst thing about it is Bournemouth don't even need him. They don't even need him. But it's like Leeds have just been like, well, they haven't been like it, but Cine, you take me on loan. Don't have to pay anything for it. You pay my wages, but that's another thing is he's going to, if they are paying all of his wages, he's going to see a 50% increase in his wage. So you get it from his perspective. It's 50% and he's playing in the Premier League. Well, I'm not doing all this now. There's loads of you saying that you'll bet me. I don't have enough money to bet you all. It's a good question, David. What free agents are they? I don't think so, mate. I think the only thing is, Jack, it's a little bit of a negative vibe, isn't it? If we lose Cine and don't replace him. And I know it's going to be a Yorkshire derby, but I think there are going to be there are going to be people who are just going to be like that. You know? I think that's the only thing. We have got Somerville. It's not bad, guys. The attack's not bad at all. It's not. Let me say that. It's not a bad attack at all. I'm not saying it is. It's just not. I don't know. It's not got that razzmatazz, I don't think, without Cine there. I think Cine brings them all together very, very nicely. If you're wrong, get a tattoo of Jesse Marsh. Guys, I tell you what, I'm gonna leave it there because I'm gonna go get some food. I'll try be back on. I'll be back on later on. Jack, I've just seen you've asked me, mate. I'll probably be back on at around about 10:30, quarter to 11. So I'll set up a stream for that now. So I'll catch you here. Sorry if it's been a bit of a crap mic, but it is what it is. I'm just back home, unfortunately, for the weekend. Please make sure you like the video, everybody, and we'll be back hopefully with Sinisterra still at the club, and if not, Matt O'Reilly through the door and Charlie Taylor through the door. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Fingers crossed. Shield, wall. See you later on.